that time of the week one more time. It's live, and it's in the interest of the people. They're going to make you laugh, and they'll even make you mad enough to chew nails. Either way, they have you tuned in. So sit back in that easy chair and get close to a phone, because you can call and talk to them. You better get you something to drink.
Hold on.
Because you may need it also. Take it away, guys.
We're so happy to be back with you tonight. And before I turn it over to the mayor, I want to say hello to some folks I met over at the dollar store and that were really excited about the show and said they never missed it.
That's great. We appreciate
Yes,
that.
it is.
Before we get started, welcome in, folks. In just a moment, we're going to have Mayor B.J. Meeks, mayor of Childersburg for many years, passed away yesterday.
Oh.
And we're going to be talking with one of his daughters, Miss Wendy Burpee, just in a few seconds. But before we do, let's get the birthdays out of the way here, and then we'll go to...
Okay, happy birthday, Edith Bishop and
that's
Samantha.
my sister.
Mm-hmm. Samantha
She's somewhere
Bishop.
under 100.
Yes, she is. I would say yes. Beverly Lovett, we know Beverly. Hello, Beverly. Sherry Perkins Jackson, Marcia Schluter, Melanie Renee Chappell, Crystal Pilkington, and Paul Busman. Happy birthday.
Got a good program tonight. We've got a full packed program. We've got a man here that not only rings his bell, but he can ring your bell. And then after he goes off, we're going to have president of NAACP. There was an article in today's paper concerning a march and a rally they're going to be having in Talladega tomorrow. And then we're going to have some folks from Talladega concerning a taxi service in Talladega. So we got a full program. We will take your phone calls. We're not going to be talking about football tonight. We're going to be talking about the subjects that we're going to have on the program. We will say that Alabama will be playing Ohio State. Is that January the 1st, maybe? And then
so.
Florida State's going to be playing the Ducks. But anyway, we'll be talking about more of that next week. Miss Wendy, are you there?
I am.
Folks, this is Miss Wendy Burpee, Wendy Meeks Burpee. She is one of the daughters of the late Mayor B.J. Meeks, a longtime friend of mine. I came in office in '79, and Billy Joe was elected in '80 for the first time. Miss Burpee, we offer our condolences. B.J. was a personal friend of mine. We served on boards together, and he and I were on the drug task force when it was really set up. The late Jamie Grace was our director at the time, and I have much respect for your dad, and he was just, apparently the folks in Childersburg had a lot of respect for him too, because they elected him as a council member, then also as mayor many, many times.
7 times.
7 times.
Wow.
And I wanted to talk with you just a few moments and let you say whatever you'd like to say. We can't say enough about your dad. Of course, you
Mayor
know
Barton, I really appreciate it. He thought a lot of you too, and he got a note from you just a couple of days before he died. He was alert, and he was actually very alert and able to have conversations with us up until Friday, mid-morning Friday. He could still hear me all during the day Friday. I would ask him to squeeze my hand if he could hear what we were saying to him, and he would squeeze my hand right on demand every time we asked for it. And then we lost him Friday night. But we're all here at the house now, and friends have been by all day long. We're gathering up pictures and everything for the memorial service and reminiscing, and oh my goodness, all of the baseball pictures and basketball pictures and then pictures with official city business. And he just did so much. He was larger than life itself, and had this knack of being able to make everyone around him feel like they were special, and just one of the most compassionate people I've ever met. And I'm just so proud and honored that I could be his daughter, that God selected me to be his daughter.
He served in, how many years did he serve as council member?
Just 4 years. He actually got into politics because of his love of and his connection to the youth and to the baseball program.
Right.
And he served on the Parks and Recreation Board because that was where he thought he could make the most difference with his love of sports. So he did that for 4 years, and then he was really urged by Wallace Shoemaker, J&J Drugs.
Right. He was a representative for many years.
He was, and Wallace really put it in Daddy's head and laid it on his heart that he needed to seek the office of mayor. And he had 3 opponents that year, and that's going way back. It's hard for me to remember all of them exactly, but there were 4 of them running. I do know that. And that was his first 84. Was his first year to go in, and I learned campaigning. I learned door-to-door campaigning. I was a junior in high school at that time, to date myself, and we campaigned hard for him every election.
I talked with BJ many times through the years, and I think he was proud of all of his service, but I think he was as proud of anything as he was not only with the Drug Task Force, but of the ambulance service that he started in 1980.
Yes, the drug task and the ambulance service.
Right.
And in 2012 they voted to name the fire department after him, his namesake.
Right.
And that was recently in the paper. You may have seen.
I did.
They just approved the funds to put the sign up, and the reason for that is he was very humble, and they kept bringing up the vote to pass the money to put the sign up, and Daddy kept saying, we can do that later. We can do that later. He was just real humble about them putting his name up on it. But it did happen, and he saw pictures of it before he died.
If you would like, you can the funeral service. You can tell what the funeral service is going to be.
Sure. The funeral service, we're having a family dinner at 12, and then 1 o'clock is open visitation from 1 to 3.
This is on Monday.
No, it's Tuesday. We wanted to be sure that we had time to get the word out to people who just were coming back to work on Monday with the other municipalities and through the league and all of that.
Right.
So it's going to be Tuesday to make sure we had time for everyone to find out about it. But it's at First Baptist Church in Childersburg. Visit from 1 to 3, and then the service immediately following at 3 o'clock. And as an alternative to flowers, we were trying to think the best way to honor Dad's memory, and we decided that his passion of the youth in Childersburg and sports, if there's some way we could pair that with his other biggest passion, and that was going down to Auburn and Auburn University. So we've been in contact with the folks there at Auburn, and we're doing a B.J. Meeks scholarship to Auburn University to a deserving student from a local high school.
That's very great. That's great. Ms. Wendy, I appreciate you taking time to be with us. And for you that are watching, if you missed the first part of our program you want to share with other folks, this program will be run again tonight at 8:30 on Channel 10. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock on Channel 80. Tomorrow night at 9 it'll be on Channel 80. This is on Charter Cable. Of course, Channel 80 is on Alabama Cable Network, ACN. So, and it's also on the internet all over the world. So we will be sharing with everyone that the late B.J. Meeks funeral will be Tuesday.
Thank you so much for letting me share our memories of him.
Ms. Wendy, please offer our condolences to Ms. Meeks and all the family. Any way we can help you, we're as close as your phone.
Thank you so much, Mayor Barton.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The late B.J. Meeks funeral will be Tuesday. He's going to be missed by a lot of folks. We've got, Mr. Engineer, can we show the young lady, Christacia Lane? There she is. We was in Wendy's, when was Charlotte? You was there, Mayor and I, and you was eating dinner. Was it Friday? Mm-hmm. And Sherry Lane, we've been knowing Sherry all of her life when she was just a small girl. Her mother and dad was good friends of Mayor and I, and we watched Sherry grow up, and she came in with her daughter, Christacia Lane. And I said, come on, let me talk to you. She jumped up in my lap, and I said, get a picture of this. And there she is, Miss Christacia Lane, daughter of Chris and Sherry Lane of Lincoln, Alabama. She's a doll. She's just a beautiful young lady, and we're just proud to show this. Do we have Reverend Morris on the phone? Is Reverend Morris there? Reverend Morris? Put him on. Put it live. Reverend Morris. Reverend Morris.
Yes, hello.
How are you, sir?
All right, how you doing, man?
I'm fine. There was an article in today's Daily Home. For you that don't know, this is Reverend Hugh Morris. He is president of the Talladega County NAACP, and he's also vice president of the NAACP throughout the state of Alabama. And Reverend Morris, there was an article in today's Daily Home concerning you have asked for a permit to have a rally and a, let's see if I can get my article here so I can know what I'm talking about. When I stand up, my mind sets down sometimes. You ain't got that old yet, have you?
No, not yet.
Said the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People has planned a march and rally in Talladega City Monday afternoon. Reverend Hugh Morris, who is first vice president, I told you this, It will begin at 3 p.m. at Talladega College and will end at Talladega City Hall. Then there will be a meeting or a rally across the street from City Hall. And Reverend Morris is talking about several things. He says they're concerned about some police officers who may be stopping residents because of their ethnicity, the color of their skin. That's another word I can't talk about. Can't talk. So we're asking that the police department be more visible in our communities and to stop racial profiling. Pastor Morris, I appreciate you taking time to be with us. If you'd like to say a few words about your rally tomorrow, just feel free to share with the people what you're concerned about, and everyone's invited to be out tomorrow.
Okay, first I'd like to say, Larry, I met this beautiful young lady today, and after talking to her, I felt really sorry for her. She said that she was your sister, Edith. I said, oh, I know you had a rough life, Larry.
Yeah, she's a jewel.
But she's a doll. That's the first time I ever met her.
She's the better one in the family. She takes after Mama.
Oh, okay. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna start from the chapel up at Talladega College tomorrow at 3 and march down Battle Street to City Hall, and we want to be protesting. Not only the things that's going on in Ferguson, Missouri, and in New York, but the things that has gone wrong as far as the police and young black men here in the state of Alabama, where a few months ago a young black man got killed in Alex City, shot point blank, and he was unarmed. And in Childersburg, there was a young black man that got killed, matter of fact, in the last 2 or 3 years, has gotten unarmed black men that has gotten killed, by police, and we just want to demand that this kind of stuff stop, and it's not just a black-white issue; it's a human issue, and I'm asking all humans, black and white, to come out and join us on this rally and this march tomorrow, and it's going to turn out to be a wonderful rally. It's going to be peaceful. We're not going to be, trying to start anything. We just want to get our voices heard.
Reverend Morris, I appreciate you. I've talked to you and I've shared this on TV many times. I appreciate your leadership. You're not a troublemaker. You are a man of peace, but you are a man who will stand up for your convictions and will stand up for the rights of others. You don't react. You listen to the issues and then you act. You take action. And I appreciate the way you handle things, and I know that you're looking for a good train. I'll be out of town tomorrow, but if I get back in time, I will be there. But I do appreciate you taking time. I got the email from you today that said that you're concerning, we demand more police involvement within our community and more visibility. We're demanding something be done about the rogue police officers within the police force, among other things. We're asking you all to come out and support this worthwhile effort. We do get complaints from time to time, folks in Talladega and in the entire county, about they're concerned about the way the police officers are treating folks. There's nothing wrong with the police officers making arrests. There's nothing wrong with the police officer stopping you if it's not racial profiling. But the police officer can be nice and still do his job.
That's right.
That's right. I was fortunate enough to run into this young lady up at the courthouse, up at City Hall the other day. She's a young black lady, 17 years old. Police pulled her over for nothing, and she had some colorful lenses in her eyes. She had difficult, these cosmetic contact lenses, and the policeman looked on her license and said, well, the license said that your eyes are brown. She says, well, yeah, I got, contacts in, for color, and this policeman gave this little 17-year-old girl a ticket because her license didn't have a restriction that she needed contact lenses. And can you imagine a 17-year-old little girl being accosted by the police like that? That's just totally unnecessary. Everybody knows about contact lens, about the cosmetic, they blue, green. You can get any color that you want. And this policeman had to know
Reverend Morris, when I came out of the Army in '65, I had the privilege of serving as a police officer in Talladega for several months. And I learned then that policing, of course, first of all, you don't put a gun and badge on just everybody. And the years I've been mayor, I've always been concerned about pinning a gun or badge on an idiot, if you will.
Yes.
Everybody don't need a gun and badges on the police force. But I learned in my time as a police officer is common sense, common courtesy, whatever you're doing. I had a call recently, I had a letter recently. The lady was out Brecon, pulled in a grocery store, and when she started to leave, the police officer stopped her and she, talked to her and want to do this, want to ask all these kind of questions. And he looked in the back, and the baby was in a restraint, in a seat in a restraint. But he said, that seat is not the right seat for your baby. And he gives her a ticket for not having the right size or whatever. The baby was buckled in. Well, the police officer could have said, ma'am, you've got the wrong seat for this baby. I'm going to give you a warning. You go take care of this and get you this proper seat. And she would have been well pleased, and he'd have got his message across. But to give a lady a ticket, the baby's, she probably didn't even know that she's supposed to have a certain size seat. I don't know. But common sense, common courtesy, and just using some wisdom is what we need in our police force.
Exactly.
And I think for the most part, we've got some good police officers.
Yes,
But we do have a
agree.
couple. We do have a couple that probably needs to be brought in and talked to, and to see if they can't straighten them out. But Reverend Morris, I appreciate you talking with us, taking time, and we wish you the best tomorrow.
Well, listen, Larry, I thank you for giving me this time. I bless you. I thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
We've got to go to a break in just a moment, then we're going to come back with the bell ringer. But do we have the picture of the local brew house ribbon cutting? We had a ribbon cutting this week there at the local brew house on the corner of Court Street and Battle Street. Used to be Braswell Furniture. That's Digger Brew House owners Lindsey Moses and Trey Cobb. We had a ribbon cutting there and had a great turnout. And I came by Thursday night after the council meeting, and it was wall-to-wall people in there. They have hot dogs, they have chips and dips and different brands of beer. And I understand they're going to be serving some wine, but apparently it's well received. And this is just another business opening in Talladega. Talladaga's open for business, and we wish these folks the best. We got to go to a break after we talk about Rehab First. Rehab First, after the ball game last night, we watched the Georgia Tech ball game.
Yes.
And the
Alabama.
Mississippi, Florida State.
Yes.
And we pulling for Georgia Tech. I was hoping they'd beat that quarterback, but they didn't. But they had some bad injuries. They need to go to Rehab First and and be treated. Take care of those wounds they've got, those bruises, those broken bones. But Rehab First is there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Private rooms, 24-hour RN coverage, wound care certified staff, orthopedic service, any kind of service you could possibly need. Rehab First has it, and they will take care of you. They're there for a job, naturally, but they're also there to make sure you get the best service you can possibly get. We'll talk about them in just a little bit more. We've got to go to break, and we're going to be back with the bell ringer.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual member share and also move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? It's so good. Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Oh, wow, look at that.
Want a bite?
Your agent. Do the jingle. Do the jingle.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, guys.
Do it again. Do it again.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good. State Farm agents are there when you need them.
Welcome back.
Yes, and welcome back. We're thrilled to death tonight to have a longtime friend, Mr. Jerry Sellers. We'll be talking to him in just a second, but a lot of good things going on in Talladega. We went up today and heard the jazz band at the Ritz Theater. Had a great turnout. The band is fantastic. Heritage Hall Jazz Band is great. This coming Tuesday night, the annual Christmas at Ritz Theater be this Tuesday night, yes. Talladega College Choir annual Christmas concert. Mm-hmm. Instead of having it at the college building, I'm out of blank. It's going to be at the Ritz Theater Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. It's free admission, and they can seat about 500 people. If you've never heard this Talladega College Choir, you don't have any idea what you're missing. We'll be there, and we're looking forward to be there. First Baptist Church of Talladega will be holding a Christmas celebration concert Sunday, December the 14th. That'll be a week from today at historic Ritz Theater and Courthouse, free admission. The Ultimate Christmas Experience screening of film classic The Polar Express with special guests will be Friday, December the 19th. A benefit for First Family Service Center, historic Ritz Theater, Courthouse Square, tickets $10. The Joy of Christmas, Saturday the 20th, a benefit concert from Becky's Dream and Friends, featuring Kenny Robertson, Frankie Hardy, Regina Jinks, Jim Kaufman, Jillian Bridge, Zach Robertson, and Corey Brown, with special guests Jay Patrick, David Gilmore, Dara Murphy, Steve Hale, Jim Norton, and Glenn Horn. All proceeds will benefit the Children's Hospital Pediatric Unit. This is going to be at the historic Ritz Theater, Courthouse Square. Tickets $10.
Great.
A lot of good things going on in Talladega. Mr. Jerry Sellers, welcome.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
The Bell Man.
I think you've planted that on me.
Is that what they're calling you when you move around town? Here comes the Bell Man.
That's true.
Mr. Jerry Sellers is the son of the late Louis Sellers. You that know Mr. Sellers, he had a hardware store at Munford forever. And his specialty was scanners. I remember I bought a scanner back when I was on the police force. It might have been the first term. And I kept that scanner in my bedroom. And sometime midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd hear Chief Sparks or someone blaring out on the radio chasing somebody. My wife says, "Turn that thing off." But Mr. Sellers was known for scanners. He was also, and his son Jerry, I guess your dad was also known for making, for bells, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
He started it.
Well, I started him making them. Not many boys could say they taught their dad how to do something, but I taught him how to make them. He knew nothing about it, but he took it and ran with it. I always admired him for what he did.
Mr. Jerry Sellers is an article in the Logan Martin Home Edition, Lakeside Living, November edition, a great magazine, and he's got an excellent article, about 3 or 4 pages of it. There's a picture, full color picture of him and the bell. Jerry has started making bells out of aluminum, and I have a letter here somewhere from the aluminum people that said it couldn't be done. I don't, see if you can find it, Charlotte. Here it is. It says, this is dated March the 9th, 1976, from Reynolds Aluminum. And this is, Dear Mr. Sellers, I think I left word with your answering machine today, but it got kind of confusing, so this letter is to follow up. And it goes on to say, it appears that the most practical time from my viewpoint for me to visit you would be so and so and so and so. Since you're not in currently production anyway, perhaps we could make some pictures of you with some of your stock, preferably including some unmounted or hung bells. Says I'd be interested in more details of how you discovered that bells could be made of aluminum. Our people and this is Reynolds Aluminum, our people in Richmond say it won't work. I certainly wouldn't expect you to reveal competitive information. Perhaps we could talk in generalities. It was fascinating to learn that you started out with casting scrap and that different alloys gave the bells different tones. Another question which might be of interest involves aluminum's lightweight and freedom from rust. Are these advantages in your bells? And it goes on to point out that he just says that you can't make aluminum bell ring. That's what he said. This is the big boys, Aluminum Reynolds, said you can't make aluminum bell ring. Ring that bell over there.
This one?
Any one of them. Now, you could have fooled me, but that sounded like it's ringing. The big boys, Aluminum Reynolds, said it can't be done. Let's talk about how you got into the bell business.
I had a guy that wanted one of my dad's bells. And my granddaughters boyfriend, found her one over in Georgia that had my dad's name across the yoke, just like this one has, by going around and posting at post offices his name and phone number, said, I'm looking for a bell with LL Sellers, Mumford, Alabama on it. And he got a call, found one over in Georgia. Then this attorney wanted me to make him one. And that's basically the way I got started. I thought, why not try it, do it? It's been 50 years anyway. Might as well see if you can still do it, you know. And I've had a lot of downfalls on my way, but and still have downfalls today. We lost one of these bells the other day. Can't figure out what happened. I always tried to go back, find out what the root cause was. The only thing I know could have happened was when they set the bottom part of the mold down on the floor, they might have bumped it like that, and if they did, all that sand packed a little bit heavier than it was. So when we poured it, we had it clamped down with 4 clamps, 2 25-pound weights on top of the mold. We got about 10 pounds of metal in there, and it ran right out the side. So all that work was down.
I figured, how can you lose a bell that big?
It run out.
It says in the story here the bells were dried and hand painted. So he got interested in making bells with his father. We'll talk about that. The earliest attempts involved buying coke from fuel from a blast furnace. And Jennifer. At one time, Jennifer and Ironton was well known for, had many employees out there.
Sure did. I've got in a folder at home a lot of things about Ironton, some of the steam engines that ran there. I got some pictures of those. I've got a layout of the town that was hand drawn on a piece of paper, what was where, with a code 1 through 20 of what this building was, what that one was. It's interesting to look at all that stuff.
I talked with your dad many times. He ran over, he'd come to a barbershop, and I regret that I never was able to get him on a show and let him talk about Ironton. He knew it from one end to the other.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it says the bells were dried and hand painted, and although some people said the aluminum bell wouldn't ring properly, they did. And Sellers at his peak was turning out about 120 bells every other day. That's a bunch of bells.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was no internet then, so Dad took them around to auctions and sold them. He sold some in Chicago. Even a sheriff in Georgia came in and bought a whole U-Haul full of them.
Wow.
People say they wouldn't ring, but the right shape and the right alloys, that's not true. Let's talk about the size that you can make. If you want to talk about the prices and how they can get in touch with you in case they want to buy a bell from you and put it up on their farm or at the front yard or wherever.
Okay.
And about the you make the harness, or is that what they call it, harness? What they call
Make
it?
the bracket.
The bracket, yeah.
This piece.
And the clappers.
Make the clapper, pour it all. But to this casting here, there's 5 different parts. The clapper, the yoke, the rope handle, the bell, and then the post bracket. And we cast all of those. This is what I call a bullhead bell. I sell that for 30 bucks. It's got a piece of leather strap in the clapper to ring it with. The bell's stationary, it doesn't rock in the yoke. Then I make a patio scroll bell. I hand bend this metal myself with a little die that I got. And
Sound like it'll ring to me.
It will. I might say the first thing I remember about a bell this size was my dad got me out of the bed one Saturday morning before daylight. And he said, get up, put some old clothes on, you're going to work. I didn't have a clue where I was going, but he took me up the road about 5 miles to a farm. I knew the man and his children. And the guy gave me a hoe, and about 8 other people showed up. We went out to this field about a quarter of a mile from his house, and we chopped cotton all day. At lunchtime, his wife, there was a bell by the back porch, this size. She came and rang that bell, and we went in and had 2 benches and a long table, and she fed us lunch. We went back out there to work, and at 5 o'clock that afternoon, she rang the bell again, and we knew it was time to quit. The man handed me a $1 bill for my day's work, and I remember going back to that field in the fall and picking cotton. I picked 94 pounds, and he paid us $1.50 a pound. So I made a lot more that day than I did the first day.
I picked cotton for about 30 minutes one day. I wasn't a cotton picker.
It's hard work. But I make another one in between these. It's a number 2 bell. This is a number 3. I sell the number 2 for $150. This one's $200 complete. And that's the only 4 that I make.
The only thing they need to hook that bell up is what? A pole or?
A post to put this
Post.
bracket on, and then it sits in this right here upright, and then they tie a rope in the, or a 1/4-inch cord in the
To ring it.
rope handle to ring it with.
Do these have Talladega imprinted anywhere on it to show where it comes
No,
from?
they don't, but I had a Talladega policeman come by the other day and bought one, and it's the first time it's ever happened to me. He said, "You got a silver magic marker?" And I said, "Somewhere." And he said, "I want you to autograph it for me and put the year."
How
So I
about that?
did. I thought that was nice.
How much problem would it be to have a mold, if I don't know what I'm talking about, with produced in Talladega by Jerry Sellers, and imprinted in there when you're molding it? Could that be done?
Oh yeah. This pattern that I use has this made on it, this lettering. All I'd have to do is grind that off and put Talladega
Maybe on the
Alabama
top here, or on the edge here, or inside the belt, or
in here.
and that
Historical.
promotes it that it's coming from Talladega, Alabama.
Right.
I'm a big promoter of Talladega.
Well, I thought about changing and taking my dad's initials off there. This was one of his old bells, and I used it as a pattern and piece molded this. The difference in piece molding and using a match plate to mold with, there's a lot of difference. Piece molding is kind of a dying art. Not a lot of people know how to do that anymore. But
Well, how long does it take you on an average from start to finish? And what ingredients do you have to have, first of all, to start the process of making a bell? I know you don't just go out the garage and start making a bell.
no, we use what's called green sand or molding sand, and it's made up of fine silica sand with southern bentonite clay and water. And we use a tiller to till it, and we put a little water on it with a watering can, and we'll till it again, and then do the same thing until we get the perfect feel of the sand. The way I check it is to reach in the sand pile, grab a lump of it, squeeze it in my hand, open it up. That lump should stay in place and not be any sand up here or down on my fingers. If it's sticking down there, I got too much water in it. I can also take that lump and hold it up and break it apart. It should break clean in the middle. If I throw it against a piece of plywood on the wall, it should stick when I throw it. That lets me know it's pretty close to right. Then we shovel that through what's called a sand preparator. It's a belt with notches on it about 4 foot long. We shovel all that through it. It throws it against the wall and just really pulverizes it, gets all the lumps out. And then we put a box over this bell, about 4 inches deeper than the bell is tall. And we ram sand in there by hand until we fill it up. Then we got a board on the bottom. We run a strap around it. We put a board on top. We strap all that together, roll it upside down. You're looking inside the bell then with sand all around the edges. We use Johnson's baby powder and sprinkle it in a little, you can use a sock. Sprinkle it all around that sand that's there and down in the bell to keep the sand from sticking to the sand. And then we ram that box, is 4 inches deep. We ram that down inside the bell and up that box, scrape it off clean, put a board back on it, ratchet strap it back together, roll it back over, and then we have to lift this part off. Not the bell, but just the mold. And the bell will be sitting there on the bottom sand. And then we got 2 1/4-inch holes drilled in here and threaded. We put 2 eye bolts in there and run a screwdriver through it, tap this with a hammer as we're lifting, lift the bell off. Then we close the coat back down on it. And then what you've got is a cavity the shape of this bell with 2 holes in the top, one to pour in, one to serve as a riser, because as the metal comes up, it creates gases. If the mold's rammed too tight, those gases will cause problems in the casting. They vent through the riser. We're pouring in one hole, venting through the other. And the riser serves as a shrinkage point. It'll shrink up here at the top and keep a low spot from being in the casting, because that riser takes care of the shrinkage.
How long from start to finish to make the complete setting, how long does it take? I know at different time for the small one, the middle one, and so just roughly.
Yeah, because we might run 4 of these at one time and 1 of these and 1 of these. It's really, I hadn't put all that together, but it takes probably at least 45 minutes to ram up just the bell and get it ready to pour. And then it takes about 2 hours to melt 100 pounds of aluminum. And then we got to pour it in a ladle, tote it inside, pour it, wait till it chills. Then we got to lift all that off, knock the casting out of the sand, and knock all the sand back out of the box again, put the box up. It's a lot of work. Then we got to grind the edges around here and on top where the gates were. We got to saw those off and then we have to grind all that, get it down as smooth as we can.
Can you make the clapper? Is that what they call it inside?
Yes, I make all the parts.
If anyone you need to get your wife, or your wife needs to get you one of these for Christmas so she can ring the bell and you'll come a running. Some folks want to put a bell around your neck, so they always keep up where you are.
He can probably make those.
I don't think he can make one that small to keep.
I bet he can.
But this would be great for the house, for the farm, for anywhere.
A novelty.
How would they get in touch with you, Jerry, if they want to?
Well, I've started showing them on Facebook, so just I'm listed under Jerry Sellers. I hadn't turned anybody down that wants to be a friend, so that way, and my cell phone number is 256-761-0852, and my email is jerrysellers88@gmail.com.
That's 761-0852.
Yes, sir.
Well, this program covers the world, so I hope that you get some response. I'm impressed. I mean, I'm like the aluminum people now. I didn't know that you could make aluminum ring.
Yeah.
But you shot them in the foot when you shot those big boys down.
Yeah.
Have they talked to you about the possibility of buying your way of doing things? And no.
No.
And you wouldn't be interested in that anyway?
No.
Probably.
No.
This is a family situation.
It's a family. There's a family secret involved.
That's, if you need a bell, 256-761-0852 or Jerry Sellers on Facebook.
On Facebook, and email is jerrysellers88@gmail.com.
Jerry, I appreciate you being with us, and
thank you, Larry.
I thought the world of your dad. Mr. Louis was well known throughout. He enjoyed that Sellers hardware, and he enjoyed those scanners.
Well, one thing I appreciate about him is he left me with a good work ethic.
Well, he was a straight shooter.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, sir. You never heard any dirt on Louis Sellers.
He was sick in the hospital about a week before he died. I never will forget, we had the best conversation I've ever had with my dad. And I told him I never had forgot the day that we were building a bridge across a branch behind our house. I said, you'd pick up one end of the cross tie. I was about 14 years old, expected me to grab the other end. I said, my old back was hurting me, and I said, that's probably what's wrong with my back today is what you put me through. And I said, never will forget what you told me. I asked you to let me go fishing. We were going fishing one day, a bunch of the boys on Saturday. And finally I got to him, and he said, just go on, go fishing. You won't never mount to a hill of beans no way. And I said, Daddy, you will never know how hard I've worked in my life to prove you wrong. He said, you proved me wrong, and I knew what I was doing the day I said it. He said, I knew that it would incite you to do more.
We need more men, more daddies like Louis Sellers was.
Yep.
Fathers know better.
Jerry, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate it.
Got to go to break. Be right back with some taxi controversy. Stay tuned.
Uh-oh.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual member share and ultimately move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? This is so good. Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Oh, wow, look at that.
Want a bite? Your agent. Do the jingle. Do the jingle. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, guys. Do it again. Do it again. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good.
You too. Bye-bye.
State Farm agents are there when you need them.
You want him to stay right there?
You're right.
Okay.
Reach out on the
I tell you
right
what, we
there.
got a lot of stuff. Got the bell ringer leaving, and
Come around here.
Mr. Tyrone Jordan
Right here.
coming on, trying
It's
to get
okay.
him set up.
Yep, we're gonna be all right.
Everything is going good. It's just a matter of time.
right there.
We
I
want
know
to remind you
it's
again
kinda
that
high,
the late
Just sit that right there.
B.J. Meeks, mayor of Childeberg, passed away. His
All
funeral will
right.
be Tuesday, and we
Since you're
appreciate his
wired up,
daughter.
you come here.
We appreciate his daughter being on here recently, just a little bit a while ago, and talking with us about this. We appreciate all the folks who are opening up businesses in Talladega. Talladega is open for business, and we just appreciate everyone who is entrusting Talladega with their money to open up businesses. We've got, and we will be taking calls on this edition. K&R Taxi came to town approximately, a year ago maybe, thereabouts. David and Bradley Knapp are the owners and co-owners. They came to town about approximately a year ago, thereabouts, folks, somewhere in the neighborhood. And there was some controversy in Talladega about the taxi service we had. Folks were not happy with it. And I've been mayor 4 terms, and in 4 terms we've gone through unhappiness with taxi service in Talladega. For whatever the reason, it's hard to get a taxi service in Talladega that everybody is happy with. We've had people ask us, why don't the city get into the taxi business? The city of Talladega is not going to get into the taxi business. That's private enterprise. Industries for the Blind provides some limited taxi service for their employees, morning rides to work, afternoon rides home, and limited services on other things. But we have 2 taxi companies here in town now, and recently Mr. Tyrone Jordan, industry for the blind employee, called me concerned about some things, and I invited him to be a guest on my show. And I also invited David Reeves and Bradley Knapp. I don't believe in blindsiding anybody. If we've got a controversy, I want everybody to have an opportunity to be heard. And Tyrone, I appreciate you being here.
I'm glad to be here.
Mr. David Reeves on the far end over there. Raise your hand, David. That's David. And Bradley Knapp.
No, David Gurley.
David Reeves.
David Reeves.
David Reeves.
Gurley.
You're who?
David Gurley.
David Gurley.
Where'd I get Reeves?
That's the owner.
It is Reeves. This is David Reeves.
David Reeves.
I'm David Gurley.
Sounds good to me. Too many folks over here this morning. My mind is short.
It's all right.
Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Tyrone, I'm going to let you go first of what your concern is. You can look just a dab to your right, and it'll be right to your left a little bit. There you go, straight ahead. They'll put you on the camera. Tell us what your concern is.
Well, first thing, let me say I'm not trying to hurt anyone or say anything vindictive about anyone. My concern was when David Gurley came to me and asked me to see if I could get the visually impaired people of the industry to, I guess, to use their service as well. Sure, we needed that service. That was a must. I myself did go to Montgomery with them to court. And they stated that they would be for the blind to help us out as far as cab service, which was great. I think it was November the 1st or 2nd, Children's Mom came to me and told me that that they was going to go up 15% on 100, which they allow us to have an account. And when she told me that, I said 15%. That means if I bill $201, which it was, that's going to be $31. I can't afford that, not having children and paying daycare as well. So after talking to them, well, they did come to my house. When was it? The 3rd, and asked me what was going on. And I told them I don't know. Only thing I can speak on is the 15% rate that you plan on charging. That's the only thing I can speak on because that's the only thing that affect me. I did ask others about it. One person did say, yeah, they paid the 15%. Now, I don't know if this is legal in the state of Alabama, being that it's not a lending agency.
So your primary concern, are you happy with the taxi service?
The taxi service, as far as I'm concerned, is fine.
I've not had the first complaint until now about the taxi service.
Right.
Used to, I got calls on a regular basis. The taxi wouldn't show up. It was 4-hour waiting time, 3-hour waiting time, and they were charging them too much. And so Kay and this taxi company comes to town.
Right.
And everything sort of smoothed out.
Now, I do want to say
this is the
this.
first complaint I've heard on the company.
I do want to say this much. They did come to me and say BC Taxi was charging 20%. I was with BC. No, that's not true. They don't charge 20%.
You know that they don't charge you 20%. You don't know what they may charge somebody else.
From talking to other friends, they don't
Okay.
charge them as well.
I also understand that BC Taxi has told some of you, and folks will take your phone calls, you that visually impaired that rides the taxis and use the service, 256-369-1688. If you want to call in with your calls about your concern, I understand that BC Taxi has said that since you're riding with this taxi company, give me that K&R, that they refuse to pick you up and take you anywhere. Is this
That's not
true?
true. No.
Okay.
Because if I call them and ask that to pick me up, sure, they will pick me up.
Now I've been told though that they will not provide service to.
Now I just rode with BC a few days ago.
Okay.
And
when I heard that comment, I thought, now this is about as dumb as you can get. That'd be like you going to Quick Check, Winn-Dixie, and because you buy from them, Piggly Wiggly ain't gonna allow you to shop with them. I said, that's about as dumb as I've heard.
Exactly,
if that's true.
Exactly.
You're in business to wait on the people.
Now I do have to say this. They did state if you ride with this company, they drop your account, and that's no more than fair.
Wait a minute now. You're saying if they ride,
You cannot have
K&R,
two accounts. You cannot have two accounts, and I can understand that.
Why?
It would be somebody's going to get left out eventually.
Well, you got folks that trade with different finance companies around town,
Well,
trade
that's
with
true.
different grocery stores, and convenience stores, and liquor stores, and so you're saying because I ride with you, I'm not going to carry you on the books. You're not credit worthy of two different accounts.
Well, I guess they have had some
That doesn't
problems
speak
in
well
the
for
past.
that doesn't speak well for them. Let's see what we got here. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. If you turn your TV down, you can hear us.
Cut it down, dude.
Anybody, if you're
I'm gonna
going,
cut it down, Larry.
hold on just a minute. Callers, if you're going to call and talk to us, please turn your TV down. You can't listen to us and listen to yourself at home. So please, when you call in, turn your TV down so you can hear us. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Larry.
Yes, sir.
Larry.
Yes, sir.
I ride with BC, and they do not charge no 20%.
All right. Do they charge you anything at all for carrying your account?
Nope, they do not. I'm Carl Smith. They do not charge you no 20%. And see, a lot of people don't understand, Larry. When you got customers on the 3rd and the 1st, which I have, got upset myself, you can't put nobody out of their cab and they in there with you. Because that'd be wrong for the blind person out and they in the cab. Now, I've been riding BC here since 92, since they started, off and on. Now, like, I don't have no problem. But now, that's wrong if you gonna charge 15% on a customer because they ride with them. Now, BC don't have no problem with you ride with K&R, but it don't make sense to have no two accounts. Because some people can't pay two accounts. And K&R know he have problems. Some people paying one account.
So you're happy with BC Taxi?
I've been riding BC. I'm going to keep riding with BC. And see, another thing, K&R had a driver. I ain't going to call his name. He can't even come on AIDB property.
Why can't he come on the property? I mean, do you know this for a fact? Well, listen to me. Listen to me. Before you start making accusations, are you talking on what you know for a fact, or you hearsay?
I know what for a fact.
Why can't they come on the property?
He bought a student over there ginger some alcohol and touched it, and David knows he can't come on AIDB property. If he do come on AIDB property, he will get locked up.
Okay, I appreciate you calling.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Mr. David or Bradley?
David.
Either one of y'all want to respond?
I'm the one they're talking about.
Okay.
I was falsely accused. The boy was 19. I did not buy his liquor. And I have a certain way I hold the blind to lead them. If I hold their arm, I pull with my fingers this way and push with my thumb if I want them to go either direction. And that's what I did, and he accused me of making a pass at him.
What is, this is the only controversy I've heard is the charge of the 15%. And I understand what you're saying. I've been on both sides I've been in business, and you're saying, if I understand what's being said here, what Tyrone is saying, if he rides with you for a month and he doesn't have cash to pay you up front, they only get paid once a month, and you carry a $100, $200, $300 bill, whatever, say $100, you're charging him $15 extra to carry that $100 credit. Is that what's being said? Is that what you're saying, sir?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Larry, the thing about that was...
I don't believe you got a microphone, do you? Talk a little. That's okay. He can talk close to you.
Larry, the thing about that was for the ones that's late on paying. Now, you got some, can I wait till next week and pay you out my next check? So I said, well, I'm going to have to start charging about 15% interest on this money. I said, if you go to a loan company, you pay interest when you borrow money.
The only problem...
I've talked and with people there in Talladega, and they tell me that that's illegal. So I said, well, what I'll do is give back the money of the ones that I've charged.
Yeah, I would question if you could legally charge any kind of interest without a license to be in the lending business.
Now, Larry, in his defense, he did drop mine. He did drop it.
Drop the charge?
He did.
Okay. If you drop the charge on everyone?
Yes, sir.
Hello, caller. Sir, turn your TV down before you call in, please.
Hello there, Larry.
Hello, how are you? You got a question or comment?
No, the question I use DC all the time, and then I have a car called DC, but software has our bills that way every month.
All right. Do they not charge you anything?
They charge me on BC taxes, what it is.
Do they charge you interest on your money?
They told me, like, when I talked with software, they told me, talk with Connie, and Connie understands with social worker, they raise from going up to $75 a month.
They gonna raise your rate to $75 a month?
$75 a month.
What are you paying now?
A little less than 75, sometimes close to 75 or close to 100.
Okay, appreciate you calling. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Believe they're gone. You got a call, 369-1688. We'll take it just as quick as we can. Other than this controversy here, and I hate to see our businesses castigated, if you will, or whatever. We're in business to serve the public. I say we, the taxi companies are in business. And we're proud that we've got folks that are willing to work 10, 12, 15 hours a day to make sure that the visually impaired or whomever can get to where they need to go. That was the only complaint I've had for years is when you had one taxi company in town, and I understand unless you got 25 or 30 cars, you can't pick up everybody at 7 o'clock and get them to where they need to go. So now we've got some other businesses in town. Hello, caller.
Yes, I'm Betty A.G., and I ride with KNR. And ever since KNR has been in business, people have tried to find reasons to shut them down. And talking about they charge too much. I was one of the ones who prayed for this cab company to come, for this cab company to come, because I was tired of being stuck out, calling BC, asking for a cab, and I'm out there 30 minutes to an hour. It's getting dark. And I'm waiting on the cab company.
Yes, ma'am.
I never had this problem with KNR, and KNR only had 1 to 2 cars. So now, BC got several cars.
So you're pleased?
And still, they're late 30 minutes to an hour or more picking people up.
Does BC charge you more than KNR, or the charge is about the same?
KNR might charge a little bit more, but the service is better. They don't charge extremely much. But like I service is better. If I got to pay a few cents more to get this service that I get from KNR, I'm not late for my appointments. If I said I need a cab at 3 o'clock, KNR is there.
Okay, so you.
And Carl Smith, yes, he does ride BC, and he's always throwing accusations. People have said, Miss Connie has said, anybody that ride with KNR cannot come back to BC. I have heard that.
Well, now, ma'am, I have a problem with that. If a business is in business and they say if you're going to trade with my competitor, then you can't trade with me. If she's making that kind of remark, I don't understand good business people.
And I said, well, she can't. Like I said that too. She can't say that. They're trying to shut KNR down. But I pray to God that it don't. I'm satisfied with KNR, and anybody who's riding with KNR and got good service, you're not gonna. I would advise you to support them.
Appreciate you.
This company is worth being in business, and I know Tyrone George very well. And Tyrone, is it not true that KNR pick your kids up from daycare, and if they're late, KNR get charged for not being there on time when you know this is a cab company and we need the service, and it's not their fault that they are late because they have to pick up their other customers?
Ma'am, I appreciate you calling. I got other callers.
I have to respond.
Hello, caller. You got a comment? Or turn your TV down, please. If you're going to call, if you're not, I'm going to cut you off now. If you keep calling in with your TV blaring, we're running short of time. We've got to go shortly. Turn your TV down before you call us. Go ahead. You got a call? Got a comment?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I wanted to comment on KNR.
Okay, go ahead. Be brief. We got to go.
Okay. Every time I've called them, they've been there on time. If they can't be there on time, if they're on another call, they will call you and tell you, I'll be 15 minutes late, but I'll be there.
Okay.
And BC's never done that. You wait 2 or 3 hours and you got a doctor's appointment, then you've lost your doctor's appointment. And it's not fair to the public.
I appreciate you calling, ma'am.
And we hope that we don't lose KNR.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, caller.
Yes, sir. I was going to call and talk to Larry Barton.
You got him? Go ahead.
All right, my name's Dakota Green, and I'm calling on behalf of BC.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say they got trustworthy people over there, and I've had some shady experiences riding with the other cab company, stuff that, been spoke about openly, like, I guess to get your trust. But as far as BC goes, they got some trustworthy riders, and Dan Lee be the one you want to ride with.
Appreciate you calling. It's obvious you have mixed opinions on both sides.
It is.
Drivers, we got about another minute or so.
It's a mixed.
Come on in here behind the. Come on in here. We're gonna get y'all on camera right quick.
It's a mixed opinion when they're calling in and they owe us money.
We got callers ringing off the phone, off the hook here. Drivers, you want to come on in here? We're gonna show you who their drivers are with
This is us.
Okay.
30 seconds. Come on in. Come on in closer. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. You want to give the name right quick?
Earlene Reeves, Laura Tyson, and David Gurley.
That's okay. Folks, we'll have to get them back on here. KNR and BC. BC, if you want to come on here and express your views, or you're welcome to call in if we had more time. Folks, we want to see both taxi companies do well. We need the taxi companies for our visually impaired and other folks. We appreciate them taking time to be with us tonight. We may have to take this thing up again next week or two. Gotta go. Our time is up. See you next week. Appreciate you tuning in.
Okay.